I'm Lynda Austin. Thank you for joining us for Essence of the Week. I am the light. The light is surrounding me. The light is transforming me. The light is protecting me. Divine love is flowing around and through me, solving and dissolving all situations for the good of all. A higher power is in charge of my life, and only good can come through me. My mind is open. My heart is receptive. And miracles are happening right now. I consciously choose to raise my vibration to a place of truth and light. Yes, well, you know, the channel has spoken in her writings this week about holding the balance, finding the balance between two extremes, between the extreme of being the victim or the survivor or the rescuer, or being on the other extreme, the totally uninvolved, unconcerned person who says, this has nothing to do with me. These extremes are obvious in your world today as you look at it, because those are the things that are being brought to the surface to be changed and to be renewed and reborn in a whole new way. This is a time for looking at your place in the world and seeing that not only is your job to hold the energy for balance, but to understand that if you yourself are not living your life in balance, then you contribute to the imbalance in the world. This universal shift and change, this upheaval of natural, quote, disasters, is brought about by those of you trying to adjust to the shift and change that's happening in your lives. Think of the pictures of those in Japan when the earth was shaking, how they struggled to keep their balance. That's what the energy is doing to all of you. Look at what is going on in the Middle East, where the balance of power is being challenged, where first one side is advancing, then the other side is advancing. This is all about balance. And so what is this balance that we speak of? It is you finding your balance between the spiritual and the human. Between the spiritual aspect, which says everything is wonderful, everything is perfect, it's all moving in the right direction and it's all working for good, which of course it is. And the human aspect, which says, oh my goodness, this is the end of the world, everything is being thrown up into the air and nothing makes sense and people are dying, there's great loss of life, this is a huge catastrophe, which from the human perspective, it is. This year, we have told you, is about bringing those two perspectives together, the human and the divine, so that you come from the place of balance, bringing the spiritual aspect into what the human sees as a disaster. How do you hold that balance? How do you serve in that place? You look in your own life and see, where am I in denial of what is going on in my personal and my human life? Or where am I totally disconnected from my spiritual life? This year is about finding that balance so that you can create, that you can give, you can live the life you were meant to live cohesively with spirit and body and mind. This is about the divinity and the humanity coming together, each respecting the other. It's not about learning to live totally in the spiritual place that says there's no such thing as a disaster, even though that is a spiritual truth. It's about making space in your life for the spiritual understanding that disaster is only disaster when you view it as such, and therefore that must be accepted as part of your life here on this plane. And it's also about the human aspect learning to get away from the fact of everything is a disaster, it's all chaos, it's all, we're all going to die. Well, yes, of course you're all going to die. That's not something new. It's about, as the human aspect learns to incorporate the spiritual aspect, you go out of that place of panic and fear. And as the spiritual aspect infuses and joins with the human aspect, you can give understanding, you can give peace, you can give help to those from a place of real productivity. It's about living as both the human and the divine, not one or the other. And we tell you, those of you who are living on a spiritual plane only need to open your hearts and acknowledge, yes, those who are living on the human plane are suffering. That suffering is real. It is human suffering, but it is suffering. And so it's bringing the divine in to join with the humanity to learn that that suffering is not what we think it is from the human aspect. That there is movement forward, that it is for a cause, that it is for a reason, and that when we label it as suffering, we feed that fear and we feed that suffering. When we see it as experience, and we become curious about what is this reflecting in my life? How is this informing me about what needs to change in my personal world? That's where the gift is. It's about taking the awareness of the spiritual truth and bringing it into productivity and using it as a tool in living your human life. That's the balance. It's not about overcoming your humanity. It's about integrating what you know on a spiritual level and what you feel on a human level. Bringing the two together so that you are living a whole life, purposeful, knowing that you have purpose, living that purpose, living that truth, serving from that place, sharing what you know, fully present as human and divine. That's the balance. That's what you need to hold. That's what you need to incorporate. That's the ground you stand on going forward. Yes. We will close.